And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Thank you for joining us for the aviation portion of the Alaska Weather Show. I'm meteorologist Emily Niebuhr. It's August 24th, 2023. First off, we have a very important outage to share with you guys this weekend, Friday at 2 p.m., August 25th, through 5 p.m. on Monday, August 28th. NOAA Weather Radio will be having an outage, and it will be impacting Utqiagvik, Kotzebue, Nome, Bethel, St. Paul, Unalaska, Cold Bay, and Yakutat. And again, you can still receive our weather forecasts and warnings and tsunami information. Will be online at weather.gov and on tsunami.gov. How is this going to be impacting our services? Well, some surface, hydrologic, and ship observations may be unavailable. The 12Z 4 a.m. upper air observations, excluding Utqiagvik and Anchorage, will be unavailable. NOAA Weather Radio at 8 sites will be out of service. The Alaska Aviation Weather Unit graphics may be delayed or unavailable, and some Alaska Weather TV graphics may be delayed or unavailable, and experimental Alaska Aviation guidance will be unavailable. So again, that goes from this Friday at 2 p.m. until Monday, August 28th at 5 p.m., and you can reach the forecast information anytime online at weather.gov or tsunami.gov. Let's take a look at our current weather pattern. It's quite active across the state today. We have a low pressure system spinning around in the Bering. We also have a system impacting the Anchorage area and up into Prince William Sound. And finally, we have an upper level Arctic low quickly moving to the east away from Utqiagvik. So again, you can see a very weather active pattern today. For your Friday morning, these patterns are going to continue to impact much of the state. We're expecting IFR conditions across much of the coastal areas of the Bering. Also, as high pressure begins to build into the North Arctic coast, we can expect some stratus and low clouds to dominate. Meanwhile, at the Panhandle, we're expecting better conditions with only a patchy NVFR Friday morning. As we get into the afternoon hours, those low pressure systems will still be impacting the state, but afternoon mixing should improve conditions to IFR across much of the interior at least. But again, IFR conditions entrenched across much of the Gulf of Alaska and Bering Sea. Saturday morning, again, we have another system impacting much of the eastern Bering Sea and into the Gulf of Alaska, and stratus remains in place across the north, as well as another low pressure system moving into that area. Saturday afternoon, we have a low pressure system in the Gulf of Alaska, again causing lower visibilities, but we do see some improvement to NVFR conditions across much of the eastern Bering. Let's take a look at your pass conditions. Anaktuvik Pass, we're expecting IFR conditions Friday. Adigan Pass, we're expecting IFR conditions on Friday. Lake Clark and Merrill will start at IFR, but there'll be enough mixing. We'll get to NVFR by the afternoon hours. Rainy Pass will start out at IFR with improving to NVFR by the afternoon hours. Windy will start out as IFR conditions and improve to NVFR by the afternoon hours. For Isabel Pass, we're going to be remaining in NVFR conditions. Mentasta Pass will also be in NVFR conditions. Tahina will remain in NVFR as well. Portage will be in IFR conditions, but as you go towards the western portions of the pass, conditions will be closer to NVFR with some mixing. Chilkoot and White are both expected to be NVFR conditions. Let's take a look at your freezing level. Again, we have a lot of cold air entrenched across the north with that upper Arctic low that's been impacting much of the north coast this week. So freezing levels are about 2,000 feet. Meanwhile, we have much warmer temperatures across the Gulf of Alaska. So freezing levels are about 12,000 feet. Across much of the Bering, we're looking at freezing levels at about 8,000 feet. So again, quite a gradient along the north. For icing on Friday, again, with those low pressure systems impacting much of the state, expect isolated moderate to icing conditions and a few patches of considerable moderate. Meanwhile, if we look at our jet stream, we have a very powerful jet stream coming in across the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutian Islands at 120 knots. It curves across much of the state. We have 95 knots in the interior upper levels. As we go at 9,000 feet, that low jet, or the jet still is quite powerful, 60 to 50 knots, coming in across the Alaska Peninsula and across Kodiak Island. It's a little weaker, but still definitely present at about 45 knots across much of the state. Winds are going on 3,000 feet. Still a powerful low-level jet pushing a lot moisture northwards. So again, from the south, 50 to 45 knots all across the Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island, and weaker winds, about 30 knots across much of the state at 3,000 feet. As a result, this is going to be causing considerable moderate turbulence across much of western portions of that state with that jet impacting the mountain ranges.